So it seems the gloves are off in terms of anyone trying to stop Ukraine from destroying Russia's oil industry. It's only taken them 13 days to take over 20% of Russia's overall refining capacity offline. Every night the strikes are continuing. It's only getting worse, but what's changing now is that the Russian government was really good at sort of managing the potential public outcry. But today that's changed a bit. Today Russian social media is being flooded with these clips of people sort of wondering, not only where the hell is the air defense, but why is Russian media refusing to talk about the almost nightly strikes on Russia's oil industry? Take a look at this clip.
Интернета нет. Завод горит. А по самарским новостям смотрим какую-то хуйню. Мордва, блядь.
And as you can see, she's not only upset about the fact that Ukrainian drones are striking oil refineries all over the country, particularly the one outside of her window, but that the government is trying to cover it up. They're totally silent about it. And that is now becoming the story. And I mean, as you know, these authoritarian regimes exist behind a propaganda wall, no different than the propaganda wall that has resulted in a meeting between the US and Russia in Alaska today, on which both are treated as equals, despite the Russian economy being only 6% the size of the US economy. The propaganda facade is starting to crumble, and it's going to be very interesting.
And here's the Ukrainian government wasting no time in taking advantage of the Russian population, realizing that they are being lied to regarding the drone strikes on Russia's refineries all over the country. Tweet from Ukraine Stratcom this morning. A Russian woman notes the state media blackout on burning Russian oil refineries. What is the Kremlin afraid of? This is actually the same clip I just showed you, in which she contrasts what she sees out of her window to what is going on television. And it's not only the drone strikes, though, and the government refusing to acknowledge it. It's just that these regions of Russia have no internet right now as a preventative measure. They believe will somehow stop the drones from, navigating out to these distant regions, which, as you can see, are only increasing relative to where Ukraine is. I mean, the last one this morning, it was the Serzan refinery way out in Samara, and it's 500 miles from Ukraine, 750 kilometers distance, and total destruction. And Ukraine's gotten really good. I spoke to an oil analyst this morning, a Canadian, big-time Canadian oil guy, and he was... There's been some advising in the past couple years, discussions between people that know oil refineries, how they're built, and exactly where would be the most devastating places on these refineries to strike, keeping them out of commission for as long as possible. And apparently all those discussions were had long ago, and yeah, things are not good in the Russian oil industry right now. Here's a chronology of 2 weeks of strikes on Russia's oil refineries. With last night's strike, this makes 6 refineries. We had 2 on August 2nd, 1 on August 7th, 1 more on August 10th, another on August 14th, and another on, last night. And yeah, this one last night was particularly spectacular. So here's the real on-the-ground effect of. Okay, so this is from a Bloomberg article yesterday, in which Bloomberg noted that there has been a huge increase in the exports, fuel oil exports from Russia. Fuel oil is the stuff that's in between crude oil and refined products. Very low quality. You can't really run cars on it or anything. But Russia now lacks a lot of the ability to refine oil into high quality products that yield, like $90 a barrel, $100 a barrel, gasoline, things like that. So what they're doing is Russia is now exporting a lot of fuel oil, and you can see over here for the past couple weeks, this is up to August 10th. And what's amazing about this, Ukraine didn't start their strikes until August 2nd. And they had a couple strikes in that time, but this is only until August 2nd. And there's a pipeline, of time in which things need to, like the devastating effects need to work their way down the chain. So this is really only a few days of strikes, and we've now had 2 weeks of strikes. So next week's data should be really interesting. Anyway, but how it cuts into Russia's cash flow is that these fuel oil products don't yield much more than, it's only a slight premium to the price of crude oil. So Russia is getting hit again. They were exporting not only crude oil, but refined products, and now the refined products are apparently all going to the Russian domestic population, given that they've banned gasoline exports. So this is the real on-the-ground effect already seen after only a couple days of strikes. This is up to August 10th. So yeah, what we'll see next week should be very, very interesting. Russia is not having a good time right now. Okay, and further on the economic front here, we've got Russians now pulling about 22 billion rubles a day out of the banks. This process started a few months ago, and it's only accelerating. Russians are indeed pulling their cash out of the banks, and it's an accelerating trend. This is from our economist friend, Yevgeny Strebin. You should follow him. He is a fountain of information. Things are not good. Further on the economy front here, we've got, this is Rusal Aluminum Company. This used to be the largest aluminum company in the world, outside China. Now it is the largest aluminum company in the world. They came in with earnings today, and last year they made $565 million for the, it's a misspell there, for the first half of 2024. For the first half of 2025, they have lost $87 million. So from a positive 565 million to minus 87 million, things are not good. This is a huge company employing thousands and thousands of people in Russia. And in the earnings report, they cite, what everyone cites, a slowing economy, incredibly high interest rates, inflation, cost pressures from every side. And then today, it wasn't just Russian oil refineries exploding. We've got a tweet from Ukraine's Stratcom. Something has apparently gone horribly wrong at the Elastic gunpowder factory in Russia's Ryazan region. Initial estimates are 5 dead, 70 injured. Massive explosion at this, I guess it's a gunpowder factory. As you can see, this thing is just like a Roman candle. And some videos came out about an hour ago of the aftermath, and it's like, I don't know, 5 acres completely leveled. Nothing is there anymore, just complete devastation. Yeah, things aren't good for the Russian terrorist state. And here's our buddy Sean parroting what many feel about this, the way this U.S. Russia summit in Alaska is being handled. He says, and some context, Sean was actually, he's a British citizen, and he was taken prisoner by the Russians. He was tortured for months. All sorts of Russian culture was inflicted on him and many other guys. He was one of the defenders of Mariupol down in on the southern coast. He says, "It makes me physically sick to see Russia on American soil after their campaign of torture and murder." Well, that could be plural, campaigns of torture and murder for centuries. "A shameful, tragic day for America. What a PR win for Putin." Here is some, so Putin's special representative Kirill Dmitriev posted a view from the plane with the caption, "Sunny and beautiful Alaska. Thanks, Trump, for giving them maximum publicity and rewarding their genocide." And Sean, like I said, has had a close-up view of all elements of Russian culture, and his opinion is more valid than most when it comes to any topics related to Ukraine or Russia. And here we have Putin doing a little propaganda stunt. Before flying to Alaska, Putin laid flowers at Heroes of Al-Sib Memorial in Magadan. This is in very, very far eastern Russia, which symbolizes the cooperation of the USSR and the US in World War II. So Putin turning the ass-kissing up to 11 here in preparation for this summit. Yes, it was the U.S. that bailed Russia out big time after their joint invasion of Europe. And the U.S. flew in and bailed them out. And this Lend-Lease was part of that. And apparently where Putin laid flowers here, this was one of the transfer points of weapons that went from America to... Here is the gargoyle midget himself. Here's the little bastard right here. He's just upset. What? I'd be upset too. This little weasel. If it's even the real guy, who knows? Yep. Yeah, anyway, there's enough of that guy. So, anyway, there's a little makeshift memorial. They probably just threw this up for the event. While he was doing this propaganda stunt, the Russians decided to throw some ballistic missiles into the center of Sumy on a busy summer day, a Friday afternoon, just before everyone gets off work. They decided to do some missile strikes because this is Russian culture. This is what they do. Yep, we don't even know about the casualties yet. It's new. I got into yesterday how Russia's creating a drought everywhere and devastating whole regions of Ukraine, not just blowing up the Novokakhovka Dam, which is now, that reservoir is gone. It's now become a desert. Some of the most fertile land on the planet is now becoming desert. I mean, I think only Russians could figure out how to do that. So we have, this is in Melitopol down in the south. And now it is also becoming a desert. The reservoirs are all dried. All infrastructure has decayed to the point where nothing works. 11 years of Russian occupation in some regions. Melitopol, they did this in only 3 years. Melitopol was very fertile land. They are turning it into a desert. Anyway, that's what Russia's doing. We'll see how this Trump-Putin summit goes. But here in Ukraine, the tone is really very, very pessimistic. He's even discussing giving Putin, quote, mineral rights to Ukraine, as if Ukraine is ever going to allow a genocidal terrorist state to come into Ukraine and pull some minerals out of the ground in order to pay the U.S. back their, quote, $300 billion in weapons, that was definitely not $300 billion. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to reserve comment until later, but the general tone in Ukraine is not positive with this meeting, but maybe we'll be proven wrong. Maybe he'll just arrest the guy, and drag him off to The Hague. If Trump wants statues of himself all over Europe, which I think he probably does, that would be the way to do it, or just crush Russia in general, by a number of means, even economically, and he could be a hero for generations to come. Golden statues all over Europe would definitely be in the cards. Okay, well, that's it for today. Have a good day.